Let's go live. Let's go live. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another stream. Today we are going to focus on a really important concept of Git, which is Git Rebase. And I'm not sure it will be helpful in your personal projects because you'll be directly committing in your personal projects in the master branch or main branch itself, right? But I'm 100% sure if it will be really helpful in your corporate environment, right? Where many developers are working on the one single project. It will be really helpful, and to make things as clear as possible, I want you to visualize things as much as possible, right? So once you visualize things, right, you will have some kind of mental map in your head so that things will be much more clear. And I will try to do the same thing. I will try to visualize things as much as possible in today's stream. So I assume you already have a little bit of knowledge of this Git, right? So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so let me show you first quickly how this corporate environment Git flow works, right? And for that, I have created few diagrams so that I'll quickly explain those so that it will be much more clear, right? So let's go to this one, right? So this is actually a quick intro to corporate Git workflow. You might already have idea, and if not, then it will be helpful anyways, right? So when the project gets initialized, we have this master or main branch, right? And what we do is from the master or main branch, we create a develop branch, right? This develop branch is actually used for the development, and this master or main branch, or in some of the projects I have seen, we have this live or release branch as well. These branches are actually referred as production branches, right? And these production branches are actually used in the production environment where actual user will use that application, right? This develop branch is deployed on the staging environment so that developers or the QAs will test those things before pushing it to the production, right? So usually what happens is, for example, you have Ramesh or Suresh, okay, two developers. Now Suresh is working on feature 1, right? And Ramesh is working on feature 2, right? So once that feature gets completed, Suresh will merge his changes into the develop branch, right? This branch, once that changes are merged, right, then again Ramesh will also merge his changes. Then in the develop branch we have feature 1 as well, feature 2 as well. Then QAs will actually test all this like once the next cycle comes for the release, right? Then QAs will test all the functionalities on the develop branch itself on the staging environment. Once they approve, then these functionalities or this code is actually merged into the production branches. Simple as that. And after that, we do this for the development, same like that, right? Now let's focus on this developer workflow, right? This part. Let's go a little bit closer, right? What actually happens in the real world. So let me show you this diagram, right? So what happens is we have this develop branch, right? From the develop branch, Suresh is actually working on one bug fix, and Ramesh is actually working on some feature, right? And because it was a bug fix, after 1 or 2 days, Suresh figured out how to solve it, right? And then these changes gets merged into the develop branch, right? He merged those changes, like after review and all this stuff, these changes gets merged into the develop branch. But remember, Suresh and Ramesh started working on this different things at the same time, right? So Suresh changes actually still starting from the develop branch, from this orange part, right? Ramesh branch doesn't have any of the changes of Suresh. This B1 bug fix is not there in the feature 3, right? Now let's imagine Ramesh is working on really big feature, right? So on day 1 he committed something. WIP means work in progress only. So day 1 he committed something, on day 2, day 3, and after, let's say after 5 days, this functionality is completely done, right? Now he wants to merge his feature into the develop branch, right? Now this is the question, how he will merge, right? So there are two ways. First way is to use git merge command and directly merge this feature branch into the development. Another way is to first do git rebase first on this branch and then do git merge, right? And I'll show you both of the things, right? Don't worry about that. So to show you that, let's quickly jump into the terminal. So let me open the terminal and let me make it a little bit bigger. Oh, what I'm doing. Oh, it is visible. Okay, it's visible. So I've created this scratch directory which has nothing. L means basically ls-la. Okay, this is just an alias, right? So same thing. We don't have anything in the scratch directory. Let's initialize Git, right? So when I initialize Git, so we are in the main branch, as you can see. And if I do git log, we don't have any commits, right? Because we just now initialized it, right? So now let's do one thing. Let's create a readme file, readme.md markdown file, right? So basically what I'm doing here is I'm creating a readme.md file, and inside that file I'm just adding a text readme, right? So if I do enter and do cat on this readme file, you can see here the text is readme. Basically simple is that, right? So then GST, okay, GST means git status only. So I have few aliases. GST means git status, alias GAA means git add all, nothing fancy, right? CC means clear only. Clear and CC both are same, right? And if you don't know still, like, then I think you should check my previous videos about the Git workflow. Those are amazing. You will learn a lot of things there. I highly recommend. Now, since I have these things added in the staging area, right? If I do GST and this is in the staging area, let's do commit, git commit with the message added read me, right? And I use actually lazy git. If you don't know lazy git, you should check that lazy git video as well. But for this demo, I'll use git log only, right? So you can see here on the git log, I have this message. Okay, this email is my personal email. Okay, anyways, it is it's fine if it is visible. So we have this commit, right? Added readme, and for that I have an alias as GL. For the git log, I have some alias as GL, right? Whenever I do GL, I'm actually doing git log and then with the graph flag with abbreviate commit and decorate and then date to relative, right? So basically what I'm doing here is if I do git GL, so it is giving me abbreviated commit means it will have smaller commit hash. This date will be actually relative to whatever the time I have done, like it will be relative date and some simple message, that's it, right? And some graph. I'll explain how that graph will work actually. Okay, so let's start. Let's open Visual Studio Code today. I know it might sound funny, I don't use it nowadays, but yeah, let's check it. Let's explore this. I'll show you a few of the cool things in the VS Code. So I have installed this extension called Git Graph, right? This extension, you need to install this extension if you want to like do the same thing with me. Then on the terminal, let me open the terminal. I have kept it on the right side. Okay, let me open this Git graph log. So you will see this Git graph log like this. We don't want these columns actually, so I'll remove those columns. So we'll have some breathing room, right, to visualize things, right? I'll explain you everything. Now what we have done, we have initialized the Git. We have this main branch. In the main branch, we have this commit added readme. That's it. Now, if you go to the Miro board, what I showed you is we will have this develop branch, right? And from the develop branch, people will start creating this different features, right? So let's open Visual Studio Code, right? So let's quickly create develop branch. Actually, in real life, actually you should use aliases, right? And the lazy git tool. But to make it more simpler, and I don't want to explain more stuff, right? So that's why I'm using full commands in this tutorial. But in real world, I'll use lazy git only. So then we have this develop branch. You see here, develop and main branch both have only one commit. That is clear. Let's create another branch called, let's say feature 1, right? So we have this feature. Okay, let's do this way. I'll rename this branch to Suresh actually, so that it will be clear who is doing what, right? So Suresh has this, and then let's check out to develop branch again, and from that develop branch again create another branch called Ramesh. Okay, so now you can see here clearly all these branches are pointing to the one single commit. They don't have anything extra. Now let me go to Suresh branch, right, and simulate that he's working on some bug fix, right? And I'll do the same thing like bug fix.md file. I'm just simulating stuff, and I'll just do git add all, and then do git commit, and I'll say bug fixed, something like that. Okay, so now you see here quickly this. I hope it is visible. Let me, if I can increase it. Okay, or is it too much? Okay, I think it's good. So now you can see here all these three branches are pointing to this commit, but Suresh branch has one extra bug fix commit, right? Let's go to Ramesh. So whereas on the same time Ramesh is working on some feature, right? Now let's simulate that. Let's do work in progress, right? And do feature. Let's call it feature.md, right? Inside this feature.md file, let me show you that quickly. So I'm actually creating this file, right? Inside this file, I have this WIP written, right? Let me close it. Let me put it this way again, right? And then let me add this into the staging area, and let me add this message as work in progress, right? So let's imagine on the day one, he was working on something, he completed few things, and then he just committed those changes. So then you can clearly see here, we are on the Ramesh branch. That's why it is Ramesh branch. From the develop branch, we have one extra commit that is called WIP, right? For the WIP, I have again alias. What it does is it does git add all, and then and after that it will just commit with the message WIP. So if I do WIP, it will be the same thing, right? And now basically we don't have anything to commit, that's why it is not showing up, right? So let's do again WIP2, right? In the same file feature.md. On the second day Ramesh is doing something, right? And then I'll do WIP. Now you know what is WIP, right? So on the second day he again committed something, but now meanwhile Suresh created this PR, and that PR is actually ready to merge, right? After review and everything. So let's simulate that stuff. Let's go to develop branch, right? And we want to merge this Suresh branch into the develop branch, right? So let's git merge. People get confused here as well. So let me explain quickly. In which branch we want to merge? We want to merge into the develop branch. So we will check out to that branch. Okay. Which branch we want to merge? We want to merge Suresh branch. So that's why we will put it here. Okay, people get confused like which branch to choose there, here and there. I want to update develop branch, so I'll check out to that branch, and then I want to get the code from which branch? Suresh branch, right? So then if I do git merge, now you can see both the develop and Suresh branch are pointing to this bug fix commit, right? So this bug fix actually is available in the develop branch as well and in the Suresh branch as well. So to show you that, I'll do git log, right? So you can see here we have this bug fix and added readme. And if we go to the Suresh branch, basically the same thing, right? Let's go to the Ramesh branch, right? Now we are in this branch, Ramesh branch, right? Now on the day 3, this guy is again working on. This guy is really hard working. He's working on really cool feature which is really tricky. He's putting all his efforts, which is commendable. Again, he on the 3rd day he added this work in progress commit, right? Now on the 4th day, in our example it was 5th day, but let's complete this, right? You don't want to do the same thing again and again. So on the 4th day, functionality is actually done, right? And then in that case, I'll do git add all, and then I'll just put a message called done, right? Now you can see here on the Ramesh branch, we have these extra commits, right? Ramesh branch started from this readme. It doesn't have bug fix, right? It has this work in progress, and after that it's done, right? Now Ramesh creates the PR, his seniors reviews it, right? And then they are okay with the changes, and then they want to merge these changes, right? So basically when we merge the PR, we'll do the same thing. We'll do the same simulating stuff, right? We'll simulate the same stuff. How we will do it? We'll do git merge. This is the first way actually, right? I told you there are 2 ways. I'll show you both the ways, right? So this is the first way. I'm doing git merge, and which branch I want to merge? I want to merge Ramesh branch, right? So if I do enter now you can see here, because this commit was not there, right? So git is trying to do is it is trying to create a new commit with all these changes, and then those changes will be actually merged, right? So this is the simple message: merge branch Ramesh into develop, right? Let's save it and quit it. Basically this is ending inside this VS Code terminal. Now if I do clear, right, so you can see here it is showing me this graph, right? Now Suresh was working on this, we have this main branch, right? On the Suresh was working on this bug fix, then we have this commit, but Ramesh actually created branch from this, and then he added this work in progress commit, then done, and then this gets merged into the develop branch, right? This is actually the first way, and this mostly people will do when they have smaller teams, right? This is actually helpful when we have smaller teams, and it makes us understand like how the flow actually worked, right? So we can clearly see that first Ramesh was working on bug fix, and then that gets merged. Before that, actually Ramesh started working on this feature, and then he added some commits, and then after that it gets merged. It is much more clear, right? But then we have this extra commit as well, right, which is not important for us. But when we have really big team, right? So let me show you git merge images. I am not sure what changes it will come. Graph maybe. Okay, now you see. So here you can see here that it is quite complicated, right? So when we have a lot of team members, this graph gets quite complicated. We have this kind of structure, and that is why in your most of the open source projects, if you see, right, because on the open source projects there will be like thousands of developers working on the same project, right? So this graph, you can imagine, it will be really difficult to understand these things, right? So that's why most of the maintainers, open source maintainers, will ask you to rebase your branch, right? So what do they mean by rebase, right? Let's explore that option. So to revert this, actually in Git, it's really hard to lose everything, right? So is there any way how we can revert these things, this merge, right? There is a way, right? And actually it is, I'm just showing you for the demonstration purpose. If these changes are actually merged on uh, on GitHub or any of the Git platform, don't do that, right? So let's do git ref log. You might know git log, but this is git ref log. Here we actually see all of the things whatever we have done till now, right? So here you can see I have done this, I have committed this, I have committed done, and then I've actually merged it, right? So what if I want to revert it? So basically what we can do is we can just copy this commit hash, right? Close it, and then do git reset -- hard, and then put that commit id. And now you see here we are back where we were, right? So this is the develop branch, which is rebased. Git log, and let me this branch was here, right? Let me copy it and reset it here. Reset hard here. So now develop branch is pointing to again this add readme. This Suresh has this feature branch bug fix, which is actually not merged. We have this WIP commit, which is done by the Ramesh, right? Let's merge Suresh changes, right? I think I reverted a little earlier. So let's merge Suresh changes, right? So now you see here both develop and Suresh branch has these changes, right? Now what I want to do is I want to rebase, right? Let's go to which tool you are using for Git. Actually today I'm actually using VS Code. If I show you, I have installed this Git Graph extension on VS Code, right? And that is showing you all the latest updates quickly. I don't personally use VS Code. I use Vim and Vim. Mostly I check terminal only. So I love terminal. So for that I have one alias, right? Which is git log graph, and then abbreviate commit, and then decorate and do the relative date time. So if I do GL, basically I get the same thing. So if I do GL and all, so I'll get the same thing. Whatever you can see here, this is the same thing here on the terminal itself. But it was not beautiful, so that's why I'm using VS Code today. Okay, so now what we want to do? We want to rebase, right? Why we want to rebase? First, let's understand that first. Okay, so now you can see here this Ramesh branch actually started from here, right? Added readme, and these changes are actually not there in the develop branch, in Ramesh branch, right? So when we do rebase, right? So what will happen is all these WIP and done commands, this done commits, actually these commits will be picked and put on top of this develop branch latest changes. Okay, it might sound scary, but basically what we are doing is whatever we have these 4 commits, we are taking it. Hey, hi Samir. So whatever we have these commits, right? These commits we are pulling, and we are putting those commits on top of whatever is latest on the develop branch, right? Just putting it on top of it. Just pick this and put on top of it, on top of whatever the latest is, right? Because this is actually pointing here. So now if I go to Ramesh branch, right? And now here we have different analogy, right? What we want to do? We want to do Git Rebase. With which branch we want to do Git Rebase? We want to do Git Rebase with develop, right? With Git merge, we have different way, right? We want to check out to the branch where we want to actually merge changes, but when we do Git Rebase, we want to actually check out to the branch where we want to actually do changes there, right? So if I do git rebase develop now you can see here, suddenly the history is changed, right? Now the history is saying that we have this add readme commit on the develop and Suresh branch. We have this bug fix, and after that Ramesh started working on this WIP, this feature, right? So he added that commit. After that we have this added commit, right? He was working on that same commit again, and after that functionality gets done. So now you can see here, which is really linear, right? This history is much more clear, and it is really clear to understand what is going on, right? And we can clearly see, first we added the readme, then we fixed the bug, and then we added this feature, right? It tells us the story, right? And which is important, and that's why we should do git rebase first. Now once we have done this git rebase, basically when we go to develop branch, now let's check out to develop branch, right? Now I want to merge these changes, merge this feature, right? So let me merge these changes into develop branch, right? In which branch I want to merge? Develop. What changes I want to merge? Ramesh changes, right? So if I do it, now you can see, because our history is quite linear, right? In one single line, you will see it is only doing fast forwarding, right? It doesn't have to do like create new merge commit and everything, right? So it doesn't have to create any new commit, like you saw that, right? Merge Ramesh into develop branch, that one single commit was added. And now you see here your commit history is really linear, and you can clearly see what was going on. Even though Suresh and Ramesh started working parallelly, right? They started working parallelly, they did all this development parallelly, but our history is linear. It tells a story that what happened. We added the readme, we added bug fix, and then we worked on feature, right? But now again, one thing, let me do reflog again and reword this merge, right? So what we want to do is, we want to go till fix commit, right? Let's go to this point. Let's go to until this point, right? Git reset -- hard, right? And now this develop branch is again back to where it was on the bug fix level. So if I do normal git log, we can see only added readme and bug fixed, right? Which is in the branch itself here, right? Now let's check out to Ramesh branch, right? Now we already did rebasing, right? But what if we want to change these messages? WIP is really gibberish, right? It's not telling us what actually happened inside those commits, right? So in that case, what we can do is we can do interactive rebasing, right? I'll explain you quickly what is interactive rebasing, right? When we do rebase, git rebase, you just need to pass -i flag, and then basically the same which branch you want to rebase with, right? So let's do develop again, right? Now this time you have a little bit different UI, right? This UI says all the commit messages, whatever you have done, WIP and done, all those messages, commit messages are here, right? And here you see there is the different thing called pick, right? So pick means we will pick this commit, we will accept these changes, right? And if you also notice, these are in the reverse order. So the last commit is at the bottom, the first commit is at the top, right? Now what we want to do is we want to rename changes, rename any commit, right? So for the rename, we can use this reword, right? Reword means rename, basically simply is that, right? Let me make it bigger if it is possible, right? Now you can see here, P means pick changes, R means reword, E means edit, right? And S means squash, and F means fix up, right? So let's quickly try to explore a few of the options here, right? So I want to rename it, right? So let's say this commit I want to rename, right? I can simply put R here or simply type full word as revert, right? Both are fine. Now I'll save it and quit it. Once I save it and quit it, you can see here again I came into a new terminal, right? And here I have ability, I have chance to actually change or rename this commit, right? So let's do this way. Almost completed functionality, right? Like I have added this message, and WQ means quit and save and quit. So once I save and quit, it hanged or what? Okay, hanged for some time, I don't know. It happened first time. Okay, but now you see here this commit message is actually changed, right? How cool is that, right? It got changed and it got renamed, right? But what if this WIP commit actually on first day or second day you were not understanding things? So now you don't want these functionalities, right? You don't want this commit. You want actually merge these commits into one single one, right? So what you can do is you can again do Git Rebase with interactive flag and which branch? Develop branch. But this time you want to actually squash, right? Squash means merge, right? Merge into one single. So basically from where I'm getting all these terms, squash, edit, revert, from these commands only, from these comments only, right? From below. You can basically read and use all this stuff. So let's try to do one thing, okay? Let's create one single commit which will have a whole functionality. So let's do this as S. S means squash, S means squash. So what will happen is actually it goes into the reverse order. So let's do squash here and let's add a reward, right? So now what I'm saying is these changes on line 4, merge it into these changes, almost completed functionality. Then this almost completed functionality squash into WIP comment. Then again I'm just saying that squash this WIP or whatever the changes we have into the first line WIP changes, and I'm putting R there. R means revert. So I want to rename this commit, right? Change text of this commit, right? So let's save and quit. Now I'm in this terminal, right? So where I want to give a meaningful commit message so that this functionality will be clear, whatever we have done, right? It should tell us the story, right? So let's say feature 3 added, something like this, right? And let's save and quit. Now you can see here, because we wanted to merge these commits, right? WIP and almost completed and done. All these commits we want to squash and merge, right? So it is trying to create a combined build or combined changes or combined commit, right? So what it by default does is it gets all these messages, right, from here and it adds here. Basically when you do it adds all these messages here, right? So if you want, you can keep these changes, or in this case I don't want, so I'll just remove it, remove this as well, remove this as well. I just want one single line commit message, so that's why I kept it that only. And then I can just do WQ, and then you can see here whole history is actually changed. And now from this git flow you will see we can clearly see the story, right? What happened in this project. In this project, first we created the readme, then we added a bug fixed, right? There was one bug, we fixed that, and after that we worked on this feature 3, and this feature 3 was completed. So basically this is what rebasing is, right? There are 2 ways to merge things into the branches, right? How we can merge it? We can merge it using the git merge, and the another way is using the git rebase and then do git merge again, right? Why we use git rebase? Because we want the linear history, right? We want the history to be clear as possible. Or let's say we want to change something in between the commit message, like for example you want to squash changes, we want to like let's say there was pick, right? So if we don't use pick, right, so then that will be uh, like you can do a lot of stuff, right? So there, those flags you can actually check. Reword is there, uh, pick is there, squash is there, edit is there. There are a lot of options. You can quickly check that. But these two, whatever I've showed you, these will be frequently used, right? There is also one fix up, which actually we can check as well. Let's see. Let's try to do git hyphen rebase, rebase hyphen I. To be honest, it is risky to do it live. Actually, I haven't done checked that. Let's do it anyways. F means fix up. Fix up, what it does is it reverts this commit and creates a new commit for that, right? So let's try to check what happens. Okay, git rebase edit to do, and then git rebase continue. You can fix this with the git rebase fix it without the previous commit. We need basically two commits there. Let's say abort it for now. Let's abort it for now. I don't want to do it right now. Okay, so these two things. Okay, focus on these two things. These will be helpful in your day to day, right? I mostly focus on day to day content, right? Which you will be actually using, right? I don't want to show you anything which is like you will use in after 1 year or so, right? So this is that. Git rebase, git merge, and I hope that's it. Let me know if you have any questions, comments about this, and let me know if you understand anything. If you don't understand anything as well, if you want to share any ideas that I can use, if you want to share anything which I missed, right? I think this is what we can use in day-to-day life, and it will be helpful, right? So this is that. Thank you for joining today. See you in the next one.